Hello friends, my name is Tawfiq and you're watching my channel Graphics 10. So from this video we are going to start a new video series about Adobe InDesign. So we will cover all the aspects about Adobe InDesign. So before getting into it, let us discuss what is the real application or uses of Adobe InDesign. So for example, as we use Photoshop mainly for photo editing and maybe color manipulation, it doesn't mean that Photoshop is used for only those things. Photoshop is also used for like creating business cards, flyers. It is also used in web designing and so many other things. But the main use of Photoshop is photo editing or photo manipulation, or that's what Photoshop is known for: photo editing and photo color manipulation, all those things. And for Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, it is used for creating things like creating logos, maybe drawings and all other vector stuff, and mainly the stuff used for printing. So if you want to print anything, we mainly use Adobe Illustrator, or people use Adobe Illustrator. And so what is the use of Adobe InDesign then? So let's say if you want to create a book or a magazine consisting of large number of pages, let's say maybe 200 or 300 pages, so we can create a book or we can design a book in Adobe Illustrator, but it is easier to design and manage that kind of a book like consisting of so many pages. It is easier than in Adobe Illustrator. It is easier in Adobe InDesign to manage and design them all together and jump in between. So if we have so many pages, then we can design it easily in Adobe InDesign. That doesn't mean it is only used for designing books and magazines. We can also design same things like business cards, flyers, brochures, and we can also design like we can also use it for web designing, all those stuff, but it is mainly used for book design because it is easier to do it in InDesign as compared with other applications. So let us now get into the layout of Adobe InDesign. As soon as you open the application, this is the welcome screen that you will get, pretty much similar to Photoshop and Illustrator, I would say. And if you click on this particular button, create new, then it will create a new document. And same with the open. If you want to open already existing document, then you can use the open tab or open button. But here is the thing: if you go to file, you will find same option like new document. But if you see here, we are getting two different options like book and library. We will discuss these options later on as we go along in the class. So first of all, let us just simply create a document. You can also press Ctrl N and Command N if you are using Mac. So similar window will appear as it appears in Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. So we can set whatever unit you want. So for this example, I will take an A4 size document. You can also change units. This is a pretty much similar stuff. Now orientation, as you already may know, I will explain it again. Orientation, portrait means largely we have more height than width, that is why it is called portrait. Then we have landscape. Landscape has more width than height, that is why it is called as landscape. Then we can also select number of pages and where we want to start. Obviously we want to start at first in this case. How many columns do we want? Column gutter, we will discuss it later. And margin. Now before getting into margins, this one option is here, facing pages. Now what is this option? So if you open any book, we have facing pages, means we have one page on the left and other page on the right. So those pages are facing each other, that's why it is called as facing pages. So if you want that kind of a look to your document or that kind of a layout to your document, then you can arrangement layout, then you can turn this option on. And if you want a regular document, then you can turn this option off. For now I will turn this off. You can again turn it on or activate it later on. So for the moment I am going to turn this off. Then we have columns that we will discuss later on. Now margins. Why margins are important in any, especially when you are going to print your design, because if you, let's say if you make some errors in margins, then it can be damaging to your designs, especially when you print it. Let's say if you are keeping your design close to edge, close to all the edges, then if you cut after printing, if you cut the design, it can be like, if you keep it too close to the edge, it can some of the area can get cut out, or even if it doesn't get cut out, it won't look that good, or it will look a bit weird if you keep it too close to the edge. So that's why it is important to keep margins, and whatever margins we keep, and we try to keep all our designing work within that margin so that it will look good. Otherwise there is no point in designing. We have to design good. Just like when we write in our notebooks, we keep some margins so that our text is, first of all, it is readable and presentable, and second of all, it looks good if you keep some margins at the edges of any designs. So it is pretty much similar in this case, margins, but for now I'm going to keep it to 0. Now the lock is on, so if I even if I change one value, everything will become 0 because this lock is on. Again, bleed and slug, we will discuss it as we go along in this particular video series. Now I'm going to create this particular document. So as we create any other document, this is how it will appear. Now we have a property panel over at the right side, and if you don't see the property panel, and we have again toolbox or toolbar at the left side and menu bar at the top of the page, typical layout which we see in Adobe applications like in Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. If you are not seeing these particular panels and tools at your screen at the beginning, then you can simply turn them on and off using these panels which are present in window menu. So properties, again, if you want properties back, you can turn them off, turn them on. Similarly, if you are not seeing tools, you can simply go to Windows and turn the tools on. It is pretty much the basic stuff. Now if you look closely at the property panel, we have the typical measurements like height, width, margins. Now this is the interesting part. Let's say presently we have only one page, so let's say if I want 20 pages, and I'll press enter. So we now have 20 pages as you can see. Now let's say if I want to jump between the pages, let's say if I want to jump directly to page number 15, then you can simply do that by using this particular option over here. I can simply jump to page number 15. So this is page number 15. Again, if you want to go back to page number 1, I can simply go to page number 1, and you can create any number of pages that you want. You can create 300, 400, maybe you can create 1000 pages. It doesn't really matter. Now what is this facing pages option? I will show you. If I activate this particular option or turn this option on, then you can see as a real book would be visible to our eyes. Now the first page always is first page doesn't have anything on the left side. First page always start on the right side. This will be the inner part of the front cover. So this is where the book cover designing starts, and if you go at the end, this is how any book ends. At the left side, the book ends at the left side, and this is your inner part of the back cover. So this exactly looks like. If I zoom it out, now remember there are the typical orthodox shortcut keys or the hotkeys, Control plus and Control minus to zoom in and zoom out, but there is another hotkey that you can use to zoom in or zoom out. You just need to press and hold the Alt key or the Option key in Mac and scroll, use the scroll button. If you move it forward, then zoom in, move it backward, zoom out. So as you can see, this looks exactly like a book. No design on the first page, nothing on the left side of the first page, because that is how a book looks like, and nothing on the right side of the last page, because this is how the book looks like. So that is the facing pages option. If you turn this off, then this is how it will look. When to use it? Let's say if you are designing something for printing a book, then you can turn this option on, facing pages. It will be easier for you to think that how the book will look exactly after printing. So it is better to turn this option on if you are designing for printing a book. And if you are only designing it for publishing online maybe, then you can simply turn this option off. It doesn't really matter, design matters at the end, but these are very important option or important points to think about. So as we go along, as I mentioned earlier, this is a very important part, this thing, and facing pages I just explained. Then we have some options like typical options. If you want rulers, and if you don't want rulers, then you can simply turn this off. Then we have this particular option called as baseline grid. This is called as the baseline grid. This is basically the baseline of text. Again we have the grid option, document grid. This is useful for alignment. We will see it as we go along. So these are the basic options. Again, it's pretty much similar to Illustrator and Photoshop. We can also use the guidelines. And remember, guidelines are only used for preferences, for our references rather. For our reference, as a guide we use the guidelines as our guide for alignment and for a reference. But they are not visible in printing. They won't be visible after printing, and even if you only publish it online, they won't be visible either. So this is for our reference. If you don't want it, you can simply click and press the delete key to delete the guidelines. So this is the basic interface of the Adobe InDesign. And if you want to change the workspace, you can simply go to workspace, and you can change the workspace according to your liking or according to your requirement. Like let's say if I choose this one, then the layout definitely changes, and you can also change it by using this particular option over here at the top of the menu bar, like this. And if let's say if I want to keep this one, and let's say if you want to save the layout that you have created, then you can simply, let's say if I do this thing, if I click over here and if I delete this, and even if I want to keep only these panels, and let's say if I want to save this particular layout, you can simply go here and you can simply go to new workspace, and let's name it, let's say name it graphics. Then okay, so this is your new layout that you can use it in future. And if you want to delete this particular layout, you can simply go to the same option, delete workspace, delete. So this is how you can create a new layout, and also you can delete new layout, and you can use already present ready-made layouts from this particular option, or you can simply go to Windows and Workspace. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain it to you, and this is only the basics of layout of Adobe InDesign. So I'm going to go slowly at the beginning. Maybe for first 3-4 parts I'm going to go slowly, because the people who haven't used Adobe InDesign at all, I want them to understand it fully. So I'm going to keep it a bit slow in the first or the initial videos. So I hope you like this video. We will continue in the next video. So if you like the video, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye and cheers.